Hello and welcome back to Derail Valley Simulator. Thank you very much for joining me in today's video. Now, last time out, I took a look at the tutorial and it was sort of a first impressions video, although not really a first impressions because I have played this title before in the overhauled version. But things had changed. There was a lot of new things. Certain features worked differently. The trains worked a little bit differently. Certainly the interface was new and completely different. So yes, in a way it was a first impressions. But today's video is going to be a direct response to a comment I received. And that comment said that they were not sure if it was my intention to show off things as a tutorial, but if it was a little bit difficult. And then I responded saying, well, this was not a tutorial, it was a first impressions. But the commenter kindly responded and said, well, maybe it would be nice if you did some tutorials since you know about the title. So this is what I'm going to attempt today. This is going to be a getting started tutorial. How do you get started with Derail Valley Simulator? Now, this tutorial will assume that you have done the Derail Valley Simulator tutorial, but it will still go over certain things even if you have not done said tutorial. So all we need to do is start here, which is at the steel mill, and we'll be in the station office. That is where we are going to start, and I will run through a whole bunch of things, and hopefully this will be very helpful to those people who are new to Derail Valley and want to get to grips with the title and enjoy it and make the most of their new purchase. So make sure you stay tuned, let's get started, and let's see how we play Derail Valley Simulator. Okay, now before I started recording this video, you may have noticed in the intro that I have reorganized all of these jobs. So a very simple thing, a very simple tip, very useful when you are taking a look at these, is that you can pick up a job and just organize them in the way you want. So for example, you do not want this one, you could just press what was it, V to throw it, or you can press R and place it. So you can click, hold R, use the mouse button to rotate, and just place it wherever you want. So a middle mouse, the scroll wheel will rotate it. So there we go. So if we have a look at our licenses over here on the career manager, so we'll press down, go to licenses, you'll notice that we have the train driver, you'll have freight hall, and the DE2 diesel engine. You will not have anything else at this point in time, which is why I've organised this in such a way that logistical hall and shunting is just gathered up together. You could very well pick this up and just chuck it in the bin if you so wish to do so. Just press V to chuck them in the bin. And if I remember correctly, now I'm not sure if this works in this version, but by chucking these into a bin, eventually you'll get a respawn of, well, clearly I've not played basketball in a long time. You will get a respawn of these, some of these jobs. How far can I chuck these from? Not that far. I might just get it. No, needs to be about there. No, still doesn't work. There we go. Okay, anyway, I'm not going to do that. So yes, career manager, very useful. So what I'm going to do is pick up one of these jobs. So I think a good job to take will be this one here. The freight haul of 3 steel rolls to the goods factory and town. So I'm going to take that, but I'm not going to stuff this in the order validator just yet. The reason being is that we have a time bonus here, and we want to hit this time bonus. Well, how do we hit the time bonus if our train is nowhere near it, or our locomotive? So, first things first is I'm going to go out here and press the F key to run around. It's raining. That's obviously new for simulator, so I'll move around and press the F key and try to find this job. Here it is. I'm on them now. So here we are. Does this look like the job? I think it does. These are 3 steel rolls, or 4 steel rolls should I say, and they are going to the goods factory in town. So if you press and hold tab, you get to open up your inventory, and then you can just, or your quick launch, I think it's actually, there's another option for the inventory, but your quick tabs, and you can scroll through. So this looks right. Okay, well, goods factory in town is in this direction. If we have a look at the map, the world map, there we go, you'll see that we are facing in a northeasterly direction, and the goods factory in town, GF over here, is up that way. So we are going to be travelling in this direction. Good. So what we want to do is we want to get our train in this direction. So we need to first set up our points to ensure that this is possible. So we want to be in B6 out, which is this one here. Now you'll notice that right now we are pointing in the opposite direction. So we can just go over to this and move that around. And you'll notice that this icon, this indicator here, will tell you which way it's going. So in this case, that is straight, that is branch. So there we go, that is useful. In this case, that one is going straight, which we do not want, and that one is on the branch. So that is useful. And then over here, we have straight, which is correct. Okay, that's all good and proper, but where's our train? Well, we need to go find a locomotive. Now, there is a locomotive up this way, but I believe if you have done the tutorial, you will find that there are locomotives somewhere out here. There they are. Now this locomotive we cannot use. This locomotive we can. So that is the locomotive we're going to use. So we'll go over to the turntable and we'll drag the turntable around, and we're just going to get this lined up roughly. Oops, not that way. Come on, other way. There we go. We will line that up, and you can look up with this whilst you're doing it with this line here. Excellent. Now, before we start the locomotive up, as we're going to be using fuel and everything, we do not wish to do that. We want to make sure that everything here is set up correctly. So, for example, this one here needs to be changed in towards the turntable. So we'll get that set up. This one here needs to be changed in towards the depot, or towards the turntable again. This one here is correct. And then this one here also needs to be changed in that direction. Now, there is another way of doing this. You could press the tab and press your comms radio and just target these. So you can target them and click them and it will swap them over. Depending on your difficulty level, you may see, if I just go back, you may see this icon pop up and show really clearly as a something on your heads-up display, or you will not, as for example with my difficulty level. As you can see, nothing pops up. So just be aware of that. The next thing we need to do is we need to figure out exactly how we're going to drive this, because we need to reverse this train into that depot. We do not want the front of the train to be in the depot because we have a cooling fan, and we certainly do not want the cooling fan to be blocked. So we take a look at this. The vehicle must be stationary to continue. Well, I haven't done anything. So you'll notice that we have a fan or radiator up front. So we want to ensure that that is going to be facing the front. So that is what we need to do. So we can just jump in using the F key. And we're going to go ahead and start this vehicle up. So over here, we can press X to duck, and we'll switch on the electrics, the starter, the traction motors, and we do not need the dash light or anything like that at this point in time. So we will now ensure that the handbrake is engaged and drag the starter over to start the engine. There we go. Engine is starting. We'll go ahead and release the handbrake, and I'll start using keys for this suit. Wait for the reservoir pressure to rise, which it has, and the brake pipe pressure to rise, which it also has. Ensure that every brake is released, which it is. Knock this reverser into forward. A quick toot of the horn. Whoops, that wasn't a toot of the horn. Make sure that everybody knows we are going to move. Switch on our lights, front and rear. And we are going to move just slightly forward. Now, obviously, as I said, you can move just by using this. And then we're going to switch on the independent brake, not the train brake. There we go. We are clearly on, a little bit further forward than we wish to be, but that is okay. I want it to be more in the middle. What I've done here is I've actually swapped around. If I go to my controls, I've inverted my mouse controls, and it wasn't, for some reason that wasn't very natural to me, which is strange, and now this doesn't feel natural. Interesting. So now what I'm going to do is turn this around, but we have to think about which way we're going to be going. So we really want the front facing this side. So that is what I'm going to do. That is the long way around, but nevertheless, it is turning. Now, bear in mind, I have left the brakes on. Now, I could have put the handbrake on. That would probably be a correct thing to do. And then just move it ever so slightly. Come on. Come on. There we go. To have it lock into place. Perfect. And now we can drive this train out. So, what I'm going to do here is I'm going to press the Alt key. With the Alt key, you can bring up keyboard controls, and these are the controls that I'm going to use. So T and G for your throttle. Really, I should have knocked the reverser into neutral. So press H, that's reverser in reverse, and we'd press Y for neutral and forward. The independent brake is I and K, so we're going to release the independent right there. The dynamic brake is O and L. Well, that is not applicable here. The train brake is U and J. There's the train brake on and off. The handbrake is P and semicolon. So you'll notice that from T and G, you're looking at the top two rows of your keyboard, and it's just that all the way along. We do not need to know all the rest of them yet. Obviously, we could use the horn, which is the numpad. That is probably a useful one. And then you could always look at all of the rest of these too. So let's go ahead and press Alt again, and now we know which keys to use. So we'll move forward very slowly. There we go, at 10 kilometers an hour, and we're just going to continue moving forward as you do, nice and carefully, through the depot, through the yard, until we are onto the main line. And as you can see, because we have set up the points beforehand, we do not have to worry about any of that. Now, of course, if I was doing this without explaining it, it would go a lot quicker, but so yes, do not think that it's going to take this long every single time. It will not. This is merely because I'm explaining things. Now you could, if you really wanted to save time, jump off the train and start messing around with things like that, but that is not something that I'm going to do in this particular run through. Over here, whilst we are making our way onto the main line, I'm just going to show you a few of these. So these are your brake reservoirs right here. Your tachometer, keep an eye on that. Your traction motor temperatures, your ammeter, the amount of sand you have, the amount of fuel you have, and the amount of oil you have, at least in this particular train. Any of these red lights starts flashing, be concerned. Speedometer right there in kilometers per hour. You've got your option for your sander there. You've got your traction motor offline warning there, your electrics on there, cab fan, wipers, front lights. If you turn them to the right, they are the white lights, headlamps, and if you turn them to the left, you will get your red lights, which is your tail lamps. Right, this one is incorrect. So, I can go to the comms radio and swap that over right now, like that, or I could jump out and do it myself. But using the comms radio, it is quite useful. And then once you have switched your train off, press the fuel cut off to kill the engine. So we're coming up onto the main line, and since there is no other train around, we do not have to worry about this. But we'll come onto the main line. We've cleared that, so I'm going to apply the independent brake and stop the train. I will then pop the reverser into reverse. I will use the comms radio to switch this back, and I will turn my lights in the opposite direction. This is very important, so if I just show you outside, you'll see that is denoting the direction of travel. That is extremely important. I will release the independent. You'll notice the brake pipe pressure drops. We are rolling forward a little, but that's okay. We're about to go backwards. Now you'll notice here we have a number. That number is the speed limit. So multiply that by 10, and that is your speed limit. This is all covered in the Derail Valley handbook. So you can always refer to that wherever the handbook is. But yes, you can always refer to the handbook when needed. So we are doing 20 miles per hour, and that seems to be okay because it is a 50 to move over, although 50 does seem to be quite a lot, really. But 15 kilometers per hour seems perfectly sensible. There we go. And I'm going to be very careful here. I do not wish to ram into those wagons, but we seem to be coming along at a decent rate, so I'll slow the train down a bit. There it goes. We're down to under 10, I would say. No, we're not down to under 10. I will now... You can hear the brakes kicking in as I get much closer using the keyboard controls. And there we go. We are connected. I said we're connected. I will keep the independence on. Now, at this point, we go ahead and grab... where's the station office? I've lost the station office. There it is. Now we'll go ahead and grab our journey, because we now are in a situation where we are not going to be losing time on this particular run. So let's go ahead and accept the order and take it. And there we go, we're going from the steel mill to the goods factory in town. So, the first thing we want to do is check that we have the right cargo. So pick it up and start flicking through with the mouse wheel. And I believe this is the right cargo. There's 275. This is 816. 264. And 521. Great. And we are going to be dropping that off to the D5 track in the goods factory and town. So what do we need to do now? Well, first things first, let's go ahead and couple this. So we'll grab that, pop that onto that, and then click that bit in the middle. That's coupled. Then we're going to connect these two up, which is the train brake, and you can hear it. What I'm then going to do is actually release the independent and apply the train brake. We'll apply the train brake on quite high. I'm going to switch these lights around, and since it's getting a little dark, I'll switch the lights on a little bit brighter. Guess we could switch the cab light on. No, we do not need the cab light. And you think we are ready to go, but we are not, because all of these have handbrakes. We need to release every single one of the handbrakes. So go up to the handbrake, and we will scroll to ensure that the handbrakes are all disengaged. So this is an engaged handbrake. Anti-clockwise disengages the handbrake. Now unfortunately we cannot put a red tail lamp on this. That would actually be quite interesting, but that is not a thing we can do, at least not yet. But at this point I would say we are good to go. So what do we do now? Well, we take a look at our route on the world map, and you'll see we are going to be, if I press Alt again to access my mouse, we're going to be travelling along here. We want to ensure that we head off to the left hand side here. That should be quite simple. It's going to be a right hand at that junction, and then into the goods factory in town, and we will work our way out from there using the station map. And we'll have a look at the station map on our journey. So let's go ahead and press Alt again, get ourselves ready to move. So we are going to toot the horn, and we will start releasing train brake. There we go. That is now being released. We will knock the reverser into forward and give it a little bit of throttle. And that was actually really nice how it picked up, it moved and then picked up the slack. That was actually very, very nice to see. Excellent. And we are very much moving out of the we're very much moving out of the depot. Now what I will do here is I'm actually going to go into photo mode. So for photo mode, I think I press F4 and then press photo mode, and it should pause it for me. And this is just so that well, obviously so that I can take a screenshot of the train and our first journey. So I will be doing this in the game as well, but obviously this isn't part of there we go, this isn't part of the gameplay. Now F4, if you have the HUD up, you may have just seen F4 brings up a HUD, and you can control the train with all of this if you wish to do so, but I'm not going to do that. I'm going to leave it as it is, and we are moving through at 20 miles per hour, or 20 kilometers per hour should I say. I'm going to take a quick look up forward, so right clicking will actually zoom in. I need to take a look further forward to see what is going to be going on, but I also need to start increasing the throttle a little bit more, as we are going into a 60, and it looks like these points are set correctly, so that is great. So let's really start accelerating this train now, but keeping an eye on our traction motor temperature. I would rather not increase it beyond 80 degrees. And that all looks correct to me. We are accelerating nearly at 40 kilometers per hour here. And we are on the right track. Temperature is falling, so go ahead and give it a little bit more power, but we do have to keep an eye on the speed. So there we go, we've just reached nearly 60, and we are clearly being pushed by the train here, as we are slightly downhill, so we need to be aware of that, and we'll bring up the brakes just a bit, just to keep ourselves managing the speed. I know the speed is 70, but I would rather be just below that as we go and continue. Now, of course, coasting is a great way to save fuel, although we are going up to an 80, so really I think we should bring in all of the power to speed up to 80, actually 70, so we'll again leave the power out. And since I've not played this in a long time, getting used to the tracks, I would like to not mess anything up. I have switched on my headlamps onto full now, although I do not think that is needed. I want to keep an eye out for any speed limit changes. There's a 100 coming up, and use the world map to your advantage to figure out where you are. So there is still quite a ways to go. So I think I will actually did not want to do that. Kind of went all the way to full power very quickly, and that is not a clever thing to do. Let's have that speeding up. We are accelerating to 70. No wheel slip, everything looks okay. And I have to say the cabin movement it's very, very nice. And there's 70. So I will ease off the power as we go into yet another autosave. Plenty of autosaves going on. And I have to say the sunset in this is rather excellent. I'm hoping I have not missed a speed limit, because I can hear the wheels hitting the outside edge of the rail. Now at this point, as you can see, I've got the comms radio up. I'm probably going to brake a little at this point. And the reason for that is that there is a junction coming up and we are going into a 60. So that was actually a good time to brake. And I've got to keep an eye out for that junction. There it is. And as you can see, it is pointing in the wrong direction for where I want to go. So, I'm going to click it, and it will take us in the next direction. More on the brakes because it is a 50 around here. And there we go. Slowing down more than the 50, but that is okay. And I'm hoping that this junction is pointing in the right direction already for us. I think it is. Yes. And we're going to be going up an incline. So we are going to need to start putting a little bit more power in for the 70. Also going to switch on the cab light now. There we go. And the headlights to full. And you'll see that we are very much slowing down with this load. And it looks like I am experiencing some lag. Is that from the cab light? It appears to be from the cab lights. That is interesting. Perhaps volumetrics or something. Now, I am really pushing this train now. I want to keep an eye on the ammeter. I want to keep it out of the yellow and certainly nowhere near the red. But it seems like we are only going to be doing 30 up here. The temperature is rising on the traction motors. We are auto-saving again. And let's have a quick look at the station map whilst we are at it. So we want the goods factory in town. So this is where we are going to come in from. So we're going to come in from the southwest, and our location is going to be the Depot D, or say Depot D. Right, that was a warning because my traction motor temperature has gone up. I'm actually going to ease off a little. But as you can see, the idea of trying to take a train like this up a hill, you are struggling. So there was a little bell. You may have heard that little bell. That was just a warning that something had entered a yellow zone, an amber zone, a danger zone, as it were. Not a critical zone, just a danger zone. And it's those kind of things that you need to listen out for whilst you're playing Derail Valley. So we'll continue in this way, and I need to see where we are going from here. It is the split for the station. So at this point, I guess I really should press the horn before I move in, and then really ease off as we enter the goods factory. The echo in this is lovely. It doesn't really matter which way we're going, we just want to go straight through really at the moment. But a good idea would be to, if you are new to this, would be to stop the train at a safe place and figure out exactly where you need to go. So realistically for me, I need to go, if we have a look at this, I'm going to be going straight through all of this, through C, all the way around, and then come up to D, because our order tells us to drop off at D5I, and then when we do get to D, that is what we need to do. So we'll come in from there, and then it's going to peel off in that direction and drop our stuff off there. I have to say a photo mode could probably come in handy here too, so yes, bear with me one moment, just because of how cool this does actually look. Oh, that's a little bit too low. Come on. No. It's going to take a while for me to get used to a new photo mode. There we go. That will do nicely. Okay, continue with game. Come on, Steam screenshot. There we go. So let's have a look at where we are going. So at the moment we are going straight, which is important. We do not want to peel off on this track as seen by the station map. So that's what takes us out that way. We do not wish to do that. So that's one and that's one. We want to go straight through. And I will apparently press F to get off the train by mistake. Do not do that. That's the dangerous thing to do. I wanted to ease off the power. There we go. So we want to go all the way around. So once we reach D, we're going to be peeling one to the right and then... Is it one to the right and then one to the left? It is going to be straight to the right and to the left, yes. So that should be fairly easy to do. This is actually quite a simple run. We'll go through at a slow speed and really get a good look at Derail Valley Simulator. So remember, we do not want to use the independent brake because we want to use a full train brake. I guess you could use the independent, but all that's going to do is stop this train or this locomotive, and all of that is then going to be pushing into this locomotive. Not a good idea, unless you have some sort of emergency situation going on where maybe you're trying to hit all the brakes. So far so good. I'm going to get my comms radio out just in case, and keep an eye out on this, and that looks correct to me, so that is going straight, and there's our track, there's our destination. So we have it. So if we just pull up the station map again, yes, we will enter in and we will go straight and then turn and then turn. So it's straight and then turn like so and then turn, and that should take us directly into our bay, I'm hoping. And we're just going to gently cruise this train into it. Oh look, there's a nice train right there. DM3, that is a new vehicle. And there we go. That is essentially how you play Derail Valley with this particular train. I could switch on the cab light. I think the volumetrics of the cab light causes some lag, but that's okay. And we do want to make sure, of course, that our train clears the points and is in where it needs to be. But we have all of these trains here, all of these wagons, should I say. So we could just bring it up fairly close in amongst all of these and stop it there. So this seems like a good place to start applying the brakes. So I'll go ahead and apply some of the brakes. There we go. And there you have it. That is it, we are stopped. Okay, so, a couple of things you could do. You could switch off the engine right now, which is probably a good idea. But also, you could just go ahead and jump out and go ahead and get your money for this. But I would actually go ahead and switch off this engine. So I'd apply the handbrake. There we go. I would go ahead and switch off the dash light. I would put the reverser into neutral, That is really important. I would then go ahead and ensure that throttle is completely switched off, which it is, and go ahead and hit the fuel cut off, shut off the engine, like so. Traction motors can go off, starter can go off, and I would say that the electrics can also go off. So that train is now switched off. I will go over here and I will apply. Now, I would probably apply it to all of the wagons, maybe with something that isn't very long, very large, very long, too many wagons. It does not need to be applied. What I would then do is, before decoupling this train, I would probably go ahead, if you didn't have the time, if you were late on time, go ahead and submit your job. But since we have time, we can go ahead and do that. So close those valves, disconnect the brake line, disconnect the train, decouple the train, should I say, and there we go. This train is now decoupled and safely switched off for us to go ahead and go over to the station. And of course we now have to find said station office. Now this could take some time, so I'm going to go digging around looking for the station office, or I guess I could pull up the station map and see if I can find it. There it is. No, that's not it. C A. It is right at the front near B. Okay. So we'll just go ahead and cut through here. So over here. Okay, we'll come across this. That was not what I was intending to do. Is it somewhere over here? Is this it? No, this is B over here, isn't it? There's the station office. So we go over to the station office, and in this here, there you go. That is our order report. We completed it in 21 minutes. Bonus time was 46. We received £10,000 base payment. We'll take that. And you can see we actually received $15,445, not pounds, and 50 cents. Press tab, that adds that to our wallet. And then what is normally a really good idea to do is to go over to fees and ensure that you've got this. So insurance only needs you to pay $100 to clear all the fees. So we're going to just go ahead and do that. Deposit the $100, confirm, there you go. And we could buy new licenses if we wanted to. So for example, if we want a shunting license, it's just $1,000. Well, we now have 17,000 in our pocket. Obviously that means that we cannot get any of these yet, but certainly we could save up for a whole bunch of extra licenses. Which ones do I recommend getting? Shunting one's probably a good start. I would not get a logistics hall would be a good one. I would not go ahead and get anything like concurrent orders, or certainly not a train length one yet, because the locomotive that can handle that is not capable of, or the locomotive you have, the DE2, will not be capable of taking trains of that length. It just will not have the power. So let's have a quick look before I end this video here at, well, I'm just going to throw this one down. Let me carefully place some of these over here. That's not ideal. There we go. We have 3 freight halls in front of us. So those 3 options. Over here, please. Thank you. We also have the shunting ones, if I wanted to do the shunting operation. So let's go ahead and pop the shunting ones up top. And then if we wanted to do the logistics hall one, which is a little bit more expensive, we could very well go ahead and get that. And again, these ones could be easier. This one may be a little bit difficult. The reason being is, though these are empty cars, it is 285 tons. I was struggling with the 228 that I had. If I have a look at the report, it should tell us... No, it doesn't tell us anything about how heavy the train was at the time. But no damage was made to the property or the environment, which is excellent. So yes, these are our options, and we can go ahead and take them, and it is now clearly night. Do we have an option for a torch? I need to check that. Inventory, caps lock, I do not want that. Torch. No, unfortunately not. That's okay. That is okay. Yes, so you could press caps lock for... Oh, I did not mean to do that. Caps lock for your inventory, and there it is. You could probably buy a torch, actually. Station shop. That's another thing to show you before we end. So where is the station shop? It's up ahead. So it's the dollar icon, naturally. There it is. Here's a shop. Let's see what we have. Cassette, shovel, lighter, golden shovel, expert shovel, flashlight. Yes, I think the flashlight is probably a good idea. Choose the products you want to buy. Yes, please. So you grab that, just click that, and that is it. Guess we get a lantern too. Why not? And apparently it's going to cost us 7,000. So everything, well, most of what we've earned. But that's fine. And there we go. So I'll take that. I will take that. And there's my receipt. Let's have a look at how this works. Press the left mouse button. Very good for when you are working in the dark or you wish to play a horror game. There's that, and then you've got the lantern, which I suppose... Okay, well, I suppose with the lantern, I kind of need a lighter. So I really should have purchased that too. There we go. And of course, you can use the lighter to... Oh, wait, how am I going to... Okay, if I put the lantern on the ground, this is going to be quite interesting. There's the lantern, it's on the ground. I'm going to... How do I switch on the lighter? There we go. There we go. So you scroll wheel, opens it, click, open the switch on the lighter, and there we go. Now we've got that. I could press this. That is in our hand. These are in the hotbars. And then in the inventory, I could always pop these. If I wanted to. I can always get rid of them also, if I so wish. But for now, I think that is a good time to end this video. This lantern's actually rather nice. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to hit the like button if you like this video. Subscribe to the channel for more videos on... Don't just go past the station office, I did. Subscribe to the channel for more videos on Derail Valley. I will be looking at taking a smaller... Probably going to take something... I'll have to have a look. I will have to have a look at what I'm going to take and see what I can. In fact, these ones are long. You need a long length. What do you call it? A license. So there's a license requirement here. You go there. You can see that it requires a long L2 and the logistical haul license. Both things that I do not have. So that is not going to be a thing that I take. But these ones I do have. I may not have that long one actually. This one could be useful. Take it to machine factory and town. It depends on what the hills are like. That could be difficult. Or I could just take a nice quick one, or a cheap one. It's not going to be a quick one. And take that to the harbour. So we'd go all the way around here, all the way down here, all the way around here, because I believe there is no actual route. There's no junction between that and that, which would make that a lot easier. But that is all for the future. Hopefully this tutorial introduction into Derail Valley has been useful and has been hopefully slow enough and had enough explanations to get you started. Thank you very much for watching. Please remember to hit the like button if you like this video, subscribe to the channel for more videos on Derail Valley Simulator, leave a comment in the comments box below letting me know what you think. Don't forget to support me on Patreon if you can do so at www.patreon.com/ECGadget. Your supports would be massively appreciated. It would really help me out. And also you can find me on social media at ECGadget LP for both Twitter, or not Twitter actually. I'm still on Twitter, but certainly do not tend to use it. But Instagram. Yes, Instagram. I really should use that more. This looks like a British engine. This does look very much like a British engine, like a Class 03 or something like that. I want a license for this, and then I want to change it into British Rail colours. Class 03, Class 08, something like that. It's a nice train. It's certainly a nice train. Yes, and lastly, you can find me on my Discord server if you want to do so. Link to that is also in the description box below. That is all from me. And I shall... oh, this is that really long train. Yes, that is all from me. And I shall figure out what to do next in Derail Valley Simulator. And I will pick up a job. I may move my train to said job or job location, ready to go. And then we shall depart for whatever the job needs to be. So make sure you stay tuned. Where does this go? Empty buffers. Make sure you stay tuned for that.